The longest-running off-road and action motorsports radio show on the planet is coming to you live with the biggest guest in motorsports. Here is the only man on the planet who can pack this much dirt slinging and tire slaying into 2 hours a week. Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to get your ears blown. Here is Jim Beaver and the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
What is up? Good afternoon and welcome to, or good morning, whenever the hell you're tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris Razor. Welcome to the show. I am back from SEMA amongst the living, finally survived the craziness and chaos that is the 2019 SEMA show. Knocked out a couple of episodes while we were there. Make sure and check those out, not only on this RSS feed on iTunes, but also on Project Action on Podcast One. Did one with Racing Junk, did one with our good friends at Rigid Industries. We are just cranking out the good times on our shows. And today, this is a massive weekend. Baja is upon us. Yes, next week, depending on when you're listening to this, the Baja 1000 is upon us. And we have... we've got a couple of Baja interviews and a whole lot more today. NHRA finale. This is a loaded show. I don't know if we've ever had a guest list this stacked. Well, we probably have. But let me tell you, this one does not disappoint. This is an all-killer, no-filler episode of the show. We're kicking things off. We got my good friend. He's going to be racing with Team Honda down at the Baja 1000, Alexander Rossi. Yes, he is on the show in transit down to Baja. We also have the always amazing, one of the baddest women ever to step foot on a motorcycle and on an NHRA track, Angelle Sampey. She is on the line. We're going to talk about her run this year with Harley. Yes, making that crazy switch to Harley this year. Nobody saw that one coming. And, I'm really excited to catch up with her about that and this finale that's happening in SoCal this weekend in the NHRA. And then switching gears, we got my good friend Sara Price. Yes, she is competing for that Score Championship and Trophy Truck Spec. She's Iron Womaning the Baja 1000, and she is going for that championship. She said, you know what? If I'm going to do it, I am going to do it my way, and that means I am soloing the Baja 1000. Props to Sara Price. We're going to learn all about it right here on the show today. And then finally, we got my Polaris Razor teammate, a guy who took the Cup win at Cranon, R.J. Anderson, on the show. Man, Alexander Rossi, Angelle Sampey, Sara Price, R.J. Anderson, crazy stacked show, and I can't wait to get into things. If you're just tuning in, please go to iTunes, hit that subscribe button. Man, we just got some good news out of iTunes. You know what? They have the top 60 most downloaded shows of all time in the automotive category. This show is fourth on the list. That is right. We are the fourth most downloaded automotive show of all time on iTunes. Crazy. Thank you guys who are tuning in. You guys made that happen. If you're tuning in nationally, thank you. If you're tuning in on iTunes or on the web, please go over, hit that subscribe button, and leave a rating or review. It helps us in those iTunes charts. Much love to all of you guys who have helped do that, and it helped keep this show cranking for, 8 years now, and 400-plus episodes. So thank you guys. Once again, I'm at Jim Beaver 15. If you got any guest questions or anything while we're rolling through the show, make sure and tweet me, hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Most of the time I'm on Twitter when we're live on the shows, but you know the drill. Anyways, we're going to take a short break. We're going to roll right in to my good friend Alexander Rossi, and then you know what? It's all killer, no filler for the rest of the show. We are just rolling through the interviews. Rossi, Sampey, Price, R.J. Anderson. We are going to kill it today, and we're going to start right after this break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm R.J. Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
4WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, 4WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself, or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to 4WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at 4WP.com.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more. Super ATV is the industry leader in aftermarket UTV and ATV parts and accessories. Super ATV products are designed, engineered, tested, and manufactured right here by Super ATV. Whether you're looking to upgrade your suspension, get stronger axles, or you're looking for a new winch to get you out of a tough spot, Super ATV has what you're looking for. And since we know you're in a hurry, we offer fast, free shipping to the lower 48 states on all orders. Visit superatv.com now and get your UTV or ATV dialed in.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'd like to welcome my good friend Alex Rossi to the show, who is in transit down to pre-run at the Baja 1000. Man, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks very much. Happy to be back.
Well, I gotta say, you've had we talked right before the IndyCar finale, and I know that was right after the big news about the extension there with Andretti. But between now and then, I got to tell you, dude, you've been kind of pinned. I know down to Australia. You've been testing some cars for the 24 Hours of Daytona. But first off, dude, how was the Bathurst 1000?
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing event. It was a bucket list race for not only myself but James as well. And ultimately, we weren't as prepared as maybe we could have been, with just some difficulties during the testing leading up to the race. And Bathurst is a very unique track to really any other race circuit on the world. So unfortunately, we didn't adapt quick enough. Is really what it boiled down to. But nonetheless, it was a huge event. Loved every minute of being able to be there and compete, and we'll definitely be back for some redemption in the future.
Yeah, so I got to ask. I mean, that's a right-hand drive car, right? How was that transition and shifting with your left?
I mean, man, it was everything about it, right? So you're on the right-hand side of the car, and you're driving a touring car. I mean, not even like a GT3 car. So there's no aero. It's 700 horsepower. It's very under-tired for the amount of weight that the car is. It's just a very unique race car. And when you're at a track like Bathurst, which is essentially like mountain roads, it's kind of a blend of, Pikes Peak and Macau in some ways, with no margin for error and all really high-speed corners and blind corners. It was difficult to find the lap time. So, there was a lot of different factors that ultimately contributed to the end result of 17th or whatever it was.
Yeah, you feel like that. I mean, and I'm comparing this to Baja now, but do you feel like that's one of those type of events where you go in the first year and you really have to just kind of learn things and figure it out, especially being the differences in the car. And then it's like, I know you want to be competitive and you guys are, but then, all of a sudden year two, it's like, all right, we've got this figured out. Now we can really compete for wins. Is it kind of one of those type of events? I know people say that about Dakar as well. And even stuff like Le Mans.
I mean, kind of, to a certain extent. I mean, I think the thing about Baja, what you have is you have the pre-running, right? You have the time to get used to the course, and it's tenths of seconds don't really matter. that's not something that you're trying to find in a Baja race truck. So it's a different mentality. I mean, I think to execute at a high level, they're very unique events. So every time you go back, you're going to be more comfortable and perform at a higher level. But ultimately, I think Bathurst in a V8 supercar with about 2.5 hours of practice is probably one of the hardest things you're ever going to do.
Yeah. Well, and I got to ask, you'd said testing. I know, in regards to Baja, last year you guys went testing. This year you get back from Bathurst and you go immediately into testing for Baja. But I got to say, I know last year you said the first time you got behind the wheel of the truck or got in the truck, you were like, man, I don't know if this is for me. I got to say this year's testing had probably been a little bit different feel.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just really, really pleased to be able to be back with the Honda off-road racing team and Proctor Racing and everyone a part of the team. I mean, it was such a wonderful kind of eye-opening experience last year that was just thrilling to be able to do and kind of, in a way, fell in love with the sport and what these guys do. So to be able to come back is just a huge, huge privilege.
Yeah. Well, and talking about last year, and I got to ask you about this because I don't know if I have in any of the interviews, but I know literally like one of the most viral moments of the Baja 1000 last year was you going through Ojos Negros and you almost hit a car, but the thing was like everybody's watching the video and everybody's like, holy crap, Alex, like you almost, I mean, literally you almost got killed a bunch of people and it was just a random occurrence. And then you get to the pit, get pulled out of the car, and the rumor is like you had no idea it even happened, right? And I think you clipped the guy's mirror.
Yeah. I mean, for sure, me and my co-driver Evan had no idea because we were in the air at that point, and your horizon's just the sky. So I thought I was feeling shocked initially, so it was pretty wild to hear that had happened, and obviously everyone was very fortunate to come out of that one with no issue.
Yeah, I guess that's probably one of those where you probably don't want to know, right? It's probably better to see it afterwards and be like, oh yeah,
100%.
That's crazy.
I'm really glad I didn't see it at the time. It probably would have changed our confidence a little bit.
Yeah. So talking about Baja this year, though, I mean, obviously you went in last year, you had some testing time, did some pre-running. What's the approach this year? Obviously, you're going down. You're a week early. You're going to get in. You're going to get in a lot of pre-running in your sections and things like that. But how is your approach different this year than last year, especially considering you've been there, you've done that, you kind of know what to expect now?
I think the biggest change in approach is just knowing the weaknesses we had last year, and we'll spend time focusing on that in the pre-run. Whereas, going into the event last year, I had no concept of what it would be like on race day, and until I got in there with traffic and other vehicles and just kind of understood the flow of the race, it was hard to prepare for it, right? So now that we go back, we can see the areas that we struggled, and we can focus on those. And on the pre-run, if we see kind of similar types of terrain or whatever, we'll spend more specific time there, whereas we can kind of pick and choose the areas we want to focus on. Whereas last year, we were just trying to cram it all in the couple of days that we had. I think this time we'll be able to be more selective and be like, yep, that part's fine. That part's maybe a little bit sketchy, and we'll spend, we'll do a couple extra passes of it or try and find an alternate route or what have you. So I think that part of just the experience will come into play for us and benefit us pretty in a pretty big way this year.
Yeah. So, and I haven't seen, but I know obviously you guys have a driving team. What section of the course are you driving? I know last year I think you did the start, right? Are you doing the start again this year? Or are you doing a different area?
Yep. No, doing the start.
Okay. Well, I guess that's good because you know parts of it then. I know obviously course is a little bit different, but it's got to be a little more comfort level going in, just knowing, hey, there's at some point a little bit of this I do know.
For sure. And I think that it'll be interesting to go down there this weekend and see parts that are familiar and just kind of have that knowledge database in your head that you can just have that little bit high level of confidence everywhere and know what you're looking for and how to just work and operate at a high level with the whole team.
Yeah. So I'm looking at this record here, and obviously, you know what I mean. You just went and did the Bathurst 1000 down in Australia. You got the Baja 1000. I know you just did some testing for 24 hours at Daytona. I got to feel like you're almost moonlighting as like this endurance racer, Alex.
I mean, I don't know, man. There's just race cars. You got to drive them. So it's the relationship that I have with Honda and HPD is really allowed for a vast majority of these opportunities. Obviously, with the Honda Racing off-road racing team here in Mexico, active Team Penske, and the endurance races, it's all kind of come through Honda and HPD. So it's great to be able to drive their products and represent the brand, outside of IndyCar racing. But ultimately, that's the main focus, and what I still spend 99% of my mental energy on is IndyCar racing and trying to figure out how to go win a championship next year.
Yeah, well, and that being said, going back to 24 Hours of Daytona and Baja 1000, I mean, both are right around it, an entire day in length. I mean, and you've got driving teams where it's not all on you. I mean, your approach as a driver, is it somewhat similar? Obviously, Daytona is a different beast than obviously Baja with Baja, every corner is different. But, is it kind of a similar type approach from the mental mindset?
No, I mean, again, I think what you don't have in the off-road racing is you're not dealing with tenths of seconds.
Yeah.
So your margins are slightly bigger. I think the inherent risk is higher, obviously, for obvious reasons. But in terms of your actual performance, there's not the same level of mental acuity required versus a 2.5-hour stint times 4 at Daytona when you're having to drive within kind of 99% of the limit of the car and within 1 or 2 tenths of your competition to go out there and try and win the race. So they're very different beasts. Baja, what the main thing that I'm still learning and trying to figure out, and is really my biggest weakness, is just understanding the terrain and what the vehicle can handle, and being able to kind of have the foresight on that at 120 miles an hour in dust and weird conditions is there's a lot of talent that goes in behind that and a lot of experience that benefits guys. So they're very different mental beasts, and each are challenging in their own right. But ultimately, the way I prepare for these is the way I would prepare for an IndyCar race, and just kind of have your process, and you go through it and try and go win races.
Yeah. Well, in talking about all this, you'd mentioned back there, 99% of your focus is definitely still on IndyCar, and obviously, I got to think you being behind the wheel of anything, whether it be in Daytona, down in Australia, here at Baja. I mean, is this kind of you as a driver kind of keeping you and your mind kind of on point? So when IndyCar season does roll around, it's not like you spent 4 months off where there's a bit of rust. Do you feel like staying behind the wheel of just about anything definitely helps you come time when it's time to test for IndyCars and get ready for 2020?
I don't know that it helps. I think it definitely every time you get behind the wheel of something, you're learning. And hopefully you're being able to take little pieces from any car and any track and kind of, and take it as a way to improve yourself as an overall driver. But ultimately, I have to spend quite a bit of time in a sim after, the off season and stuff to kind of reset back to an IndyCar and delete any bad habits, if you will, and kind of just be prepared for St. Pete. I mean, it's an interesting time frame in February because I just come out of the 24 hours then of Daytona, then we kind of have an IndyCar test, and then it's a test for the 12 hours of Sebring, and then it's St. Pete, and then it's the 12 hours of Sebring again, right? So you're kind of switching back and forth between those two cars. So I make sure to always get in a sim for the IndyCar once I get out of the prototype, just to kind of reset back to normal.
Yeah. So circling back to Baja, obviously you guys are in transit down there right now. So what's starting tomorrow? I'm sure you're just behind the wheel in the pre-runner, right? Just banging out course mileage and taking notes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is the critical part of the race, and I think the Baja 1000 can be won or lost in these coming days of just understanding where the areas are that you need to look out for, and the areas you can push a bit harder and take more risks, and it's just, it all depends on how that race unfolds, right? I mean, if you have a decent lead in the beginning, then you're not really going to be trying anything too spectacular, and you're just trying to get the truck to the driver change location. But if you have some issue for whatever reason, you're playing catch up, then it changes your process a little bit. So it's all, you have to think about it on the fly and be adaptable. But that's why pre-running is so important. So the areas where you can try a bit harder and take more chances.
Yeah. So I got to ask, obviously you're going to be down there for, what looks like almost a full week in Baja, but I got to ask, are I know at some point you're going to get into the tacos, right? Are you a carne asada guy? Are you an al pastor guy? Or is there something completely different like you've been craving down there in Baja to eat?
No, man. I think all of the tacos, honestly. I haven't had a bad taco in Baja ever. So that was one of the highlights, probably in the top 5 highlights of last year. So pretty excited to be back down here and get on with it.
Awesome, man. Well, Alex, good luck at the 1,000. Hopefully you guys come away victorious and we can do an interview with you and Proctor and the entire team after the event, man. But
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it would be rad. I know Proctor's a good friend of mine. You guys are doing it on those General Tires. So, thanks for calling in and good luck down there, buddy.
I appreciate it very much. Thanks, man.
And Alex Rossi getting ready for the Baja 1000. And with that, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back right after this here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the show, and as we continue rolling here on the show, I'd like to welcome our next guest, Angelle Sampey, to the show. Angelle, this is, I got to say, I've been a fan for a long time. We've covered a lot of drag racing over the years on the show, and, very, very excited to finally have you on, and especially in 2019, because this has been a pretty special year for you, I think.
It has been. I feel like this is the year that I've been waiting for my whole career. I wish I could have done it a long time ago. I raced against the Vance and Hines and Harley Davidson team for so many years. They were the enemy on the racetrack. I never thought I'd be here. And even when they first asked me, it took several months to really feel like it was where not where I belonged, because I felt like it was where I belonged from the beginning. It was just a really strange feeling at first, but I've settled in and I get along so good with the whole team, even Eddie. We like to make jokes about being a rival, and we still are rivals on the racetrack, but man, I am really where I belong now, and I'm so happy to be here.
I was going to say, let's go back. I think the whole thing, there's so many layers to this story is what I think is amazing, because I know you and Matt Hines, you were close friends at one point, and then you guys started racing against each other, and then rivalry started forming, and that transitioned into Andrew and Eddie and things like that. There's so many different layers to this. How was that initial call to you? Because that to me had to been just one of those kind of Twilight Zone calls, right?
It was really weird. I joke about it, and I say that when they invited me onto the team and put me on a motorcycle, I thought there was an ulterior motive, and I thought it was that they were trying to kill me. I'll say there's something going on here. They're trying to eliminate me in a roundabout way here. But the more they let me in, I got to go into the engine room that nobody goes into. I was seeing things that I've always longed to want to see what's going on behind the scenes there. And from day one, I have been so over the top impressed with this team. I knew how awesome they were. I knew that they had a big deal going on, but I just really didn't know the details and exactly how much they're involved in all kinds of racing, not just NHRA drag racing. And when I saw everything that goes on behind the scenes at Vance and Hines and all the people that work there for all the teams that they have out there, I was just even more impressed and even more excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, well, and I guess that's pretty interesting too, because I think it's almost like there was this big walled off castle, and for the longest time, you're sitting there and you're competing, and you guys are going to war with each other, and then all of a sudden you're invited inside, and then you get to see the inner workings, and you realize, like, there had to have been a moment where you go, "Wow, this is why they were so tough. This is why I had such a struggle with these guys, and we had so many great battles."
That's exactly. I mean, you just said it. That's exactly what I thought. The moment that I was let in and I met everybody and I saw the shop and I saw how they work, and then we went testing and then we went racing, and I saw how they work as a team and how efficient they are and just how awesome they are, I knew then that there wasn't a chance in hell I was ever going to beat this team. I mean, it was a good thing I didn't know it before, because before I got there, in my mind, I was going to beat them. I was the 10-foot fire-breathing dragon that was going to kick their butts every single time, because I didn't know what they were capable of exactly. And now that I know, it's like, I don't know how I ever beat them. So it's no wonder that they win so many races and championships and set so many records, because they're just amazing. And I wish everybody could see what I see and know what I know, because then they wouldn't think the things they think and say the things they say, because there's so many negativity, negative things out there said about this team, that things are given to them, that they buy things, and it's so much bull. They work for everything they have, and they have earned everything they have.
Well, and I know this one it wasn't like immediately, the red carpet was rolled out. Hey, we're gonna put you on for an entire season. This was one of those. I mean, it was. They said, hey, you've got 4 races, right? I mean, you even when they invited you in, you still weren't invited all the way in. Did you feel some pressure going into the opener there? Just because you knew you only had 4 races.
You can't know the amount of pressure that I was feeling. I literally felt like I was drowning. I was out in the middle of an ocean with no life jacket, just treading water, trying to survive. I wanted to impress Harley Davidson and Terry Vance and Vance and Hines so bad that I just kept screwing up, because I was kind of like in that quicksand. I don't know if you watched that movie with the football players and they talk about quicksand. That's where I was. And it took me forever to get out of that all year long, because I kind of had some PTSD. I knew that going into the first race of the year, I only had 4 races to impress everybody and hopefully get to stay on board. Terry told me right away after Gainesville that he thought he made a mistake by doing that, because he knew the amount of pressure I was under. So he went ahead and told me that I was on board for the rest of the year after the Gainesville race. But in my mind, I couldn't relax. I couldn't back off or back down. I had to do everything I could to impress them. And I think I struggled with that for half of the season, just trying too hard. And finally, I settled down and realized that I just needed to ride the motorcycle and be me. And things started getting easier. And Andrew and Eddie have been wonderful with helping me learn how to ride these motorcycles, because let me tell you, they are so different than anything I've ever raced before.
Well, and that was going to be my next question, because I know, the Harley is completely different. It's a different beast. How was that adjustment? Because, like you said, you were going head-to-head against them for years, and all of a sudden you're on one of these bikes, and it had to have been a little bit like relearning to ride all over again, right? Because, everything's different.
I did. I actually had to change a lot of things. Andrew helped me with that a lot. At first, we didn't try to change too much. There were some things I had to do differently, because the Harley is different from the motorcycles that I've ridden before. But we didn't try to change my riding style a whole bunch. But as the year has gone on, we did change my riding style, because things just weren't working for me. I wish there was something I could pinpoint to tell everybody why the motorcycle's so different. I don't really know exactly why. I know that I feel the wind a whole bunch more than I did on anything else I've ridden. The FXDR body is a lot better with the wind than the bike I was riding at the beginning of the year. But it's still not as enclosed as the other motorcycles that we race against, like the EBRs and the Suzukis. They don't feel nearly as much wind as I feel on this FXDR. So, like I said, it's better, and I'm more comfortable on it. But I'm still dealing with some things. NHRA bumped up our weight a little bit, 15 pounds, so it puts us up at 640 now, bike and rider. We're 640 pounds. It doesn't sound like much, but when I was already, all the way of what I could handle with my size, I'm little, and I'm, a lot less strong than the guys like Andrew, who walks around a lot bigger than me. So it's a lot more of a task for me to get the motorcycle from point A to point B in a perfectly straight line. And that 15 pounds kind of put me a little bit at the very tippy top of what I could handle. So I bumped up my workout routine, got a little stronger, especially in my core. I still struggle a little bit if there's a crosswind or a lean to the track, trying to get it to go straight, but I'm getting a lot better. Other than that, the torque is just unbelievable. It pulls in every gear from first all the way to the finish line. It's like you said, it's a beast, but it's a fun one.
Yeah. Well, I got to ask, what was the attraction? I mean, we're going all the way back to the start when you were a little girl, but what was the attraction to dirt bikes and pro stock bikes? I mean, there's so many ways to get into drag racing. I mean, what you kind of had your mindset from day one. Hey, I want to race motorcycles, and four wheels wasn't even really out there. Like, what was your first? What hooked you into this whole thing?
My mom was riding a dirt bike when she was 3 months pregnant for me and didn't know she was pregnant at the time and fell off of the motorcycle in the sugarcane fields. And we think something happened to me in the womb and made me addicted to motorcycles. I mean, the day I was born, I was introduced to motorcycles. My brother motocross raced. My dad rode. He raced. All my cousins and friends. I grew up at the motocross track. So it's just what I wanted to do. I didn't want to play with dolls or dress up and wear dresses. I wanted to be in motocross gear with a helmet on. I actually even dressed up as a motocross racer for Halloween for like 3 years in a row, my mom said. So, I mean, I've just been obsessed, and I still am. I mean, I can hear a motorcycle coming from 5 miles away, and it's like I get that tingle down my spine as soon as I hear it. I've been offered several times to switch to cars. It almost actually happened once or twice. But I'm so glad that I didn't, because this is my true passion. I might have been able to accelerate my career in a top fuel dragster or a funny car a lot more than on a pro stock bike, but it wouldn't have been where I love to be. It's not my passion. I would have just done it for the money or to step things up. But, when I get out there, I appreciate the fans so much. I wish that more fans liked pro stock motorcycles. We try our best to introduce everything about bikes to fans, because I think the more they learn, the more they know. But really, I'm out there just to ride. When I get to the racetrack, it doesn't matter who's watching or who likes me or who doesn't. I just can't wait to put the helmet on and make a pass on the motorcycle. I mean, I'm really sad. We're going to California. It's the last race of the year, and got to remind myself to hold my head up, because keep my fingers crossed that I'll be back out there next year. But it's a pretty sad feeling knowing that it's the last race this year.
Yeah, well, that's that's got to be a little bit weird going into this off season, kind of a little bit of unknown, especially after this year. You finally kind of found a home, and obviously I know you guys are trying to work hard to put something together, but that's just got to be kind of an odd feeling going into this off season.
It is. I don't know for sure what's going to happen. We haven't sat down and talked about anything yet. I'm going to be with the guys this weekend, and Terry Vance is going to be there. Hopefully, we'll get to talking about some things. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, if anything at all. I have made a decision, and it's a painful one, but I've made a decision that when the Harley-Davidson team is done with me, that's when I'm going to be done. I've been doing this for 23 years now. I took 6 years off, thought I was retired and done, had my little girl, started my family. Life was perfect. Got a call to come back. I never intended to be back for good. I was only supposed to fill in until the team I was racing for found another rider. But that was 5 years ago. I never got back off the bike after that. So I'm truly addicted to it. I don't want to quit. But if the Harley team doesn't keep me, there's really no place else for me to go. I feel like I've made it to the top. This is the best team out there. There's other teams that are wonderful, but if I can't race with this team, then I'm going to stay home and be with my family and maybe do something different.
Yeah. Well, and, talking about your career, and talking about kind of going out on top, and I think we all hope that it's a few years from now. But, that being said, I mean, you're one of the most accomplished, pro stock bike riders of all time. I mean, how have you seen, especially in regards to female drivers and riders, have you seen the sport kind of shift? Because you've been around for, you're a veteran of the sport. And I got to think now, when you started out, I mean, women in racing were very few and far between, and you're one of the trailblazers, and now I look and you look at just every division in the NHRA, and it's full of just amazing talent. I mean, how have you seen this shift the past couple of decades?
It is pretty amazing how many women are out there now, young girls coming along, jumping in a car, jumping on a bike, and doing this thing. When I started 20-something years ago, it wasn't as easy. I wasn't accepted nearly as much as they are now. I was given a hard time. I don't know if it was the fear of me not being able to do a good job that the guys were worried about. I don't know if it was a fear of getting beat by me that they didn't like. I don't know what it was, but they really didn't want me out there at first. There were some people that were really nice, but for the most part, go back to the kitchen where you belong is what I was told. And they didn't want me out there. So I struggled with that. I know Shirley Muldowney struggled the most with it. Thanks to her, she opened the doors for us. I feel like I opened the doors a little bit more for the rest of them. Now, when the girls come along, they're welcome with open arms, and I'm kind of a little bit jealous when I see it. Like, I wish it would have been as easy for me like that back then, but I'm also proud at the same time that I was part of helping to make that happen. So another thing that I have seen change is the competition level. When I first started, it was nowhere near as hard to win a race or qualify number one as it is today. I mean, now you go into first round and it's as hard as the final round. You're lucky if you get past round one. You're lucky if you qualify in the top half. I mean, the competition in every class is so amazingly intense. It definitely makes winning feel that much better. And of course, I haven't won a race all year long, so it's definitely what I'm looking to do this weekend. I don't know if it's going to happen. I had to tell myself to quit being so down on the lack of success I've had, because I know it was a learning curve all year, and I've realized how much better I've gotten. And if I could just be given the chance to do this again next year, I really think I'd be you'd see a lot of success from me next year on this motorcycle. And I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that that's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, looking at the big picture, I mean, part of you say that, but then you've got to think back, at the start of the year, I guess heading into the year, you didn't know if you were going to have a ride. And now all of a sudden you find yourself, on this amazing program and you're in the countdown. So I guess on the flip side, I guess the year could have been a whole lot different too,
Yeah, it definitely could have been. When I started the year out, I'll be honest with you, I'm not too ashamed to say it. I was scared to death of the motorcycle. I mean, literally scared to death of it. I thought it was going to kill me. I thought I was going to get hurt. I really started questioning whether or not I should be out here still. But it took some time, but I got there. And now when I sit on that motorcycle, it just feels so comfortable to me and so at home, and I love it. And I can't wait to get it down the racetrack again. So that was a huge accomplishment for me right there, was just to get comfortable on the bike. So now I can't wait to get back on it. So that's really why I'm hoping to have another shot at it, because I do believe that I could be a thorn in everyone's side like I used to be once upon a time.
Well, I think you still are. But, all that being said, how have you seen, we talked about, kind of the female presence in NHRA, but, something that I think has really changed in the last couple of decades is, social media and the whole media program and how you present yourself. And I know you've done an amazing job with media and things like that. But, how much now, looking forward at sponsors and contracts and things like that, how much does this, the entire media presence even play more into things? It used to just be about results on the track, and you were going to go out there and kill it, get a few wins a year, but now there's this whole other, side of things that make the whole racing industry go around.
Yeah, it's funny that you asked that too, because I was told when I joined the team that was the biggest part of this whole deal with me being on the Harley Davidson team, was that I was brought on, as a marketing tool. And I really hope that I have helped to do that this year. And that's just to reach other women riders or to reach women and introduce them to riding, because Harley Davidson brought me on board as a female riding a Harley Davidson motorcycle for marketing purposes. And that's the biggest part of what we do now. Social media plays a big part into that. So I try to introduce my home life with people, and The fact that I'm a mom and I have 2 kids and I have, we run a business. My husband and I run a business together. But the biggest part of what I want people to know is that despite everything else that I do, with the business and the kids and the running around as a busy mom and wife, is that I'm a rider and I love riding motorcycles. I hope that I have done a good enough job for Harley-Davidson this year to bring more women to the scene. I did a ladies' night out at American Eagle Harley-Davidson in Dallas, Texas. It was wonderful. We had one lady that had only been riding for about 4 months, and that, there were several other women that have been riding all their lives. But one of the things that one of the points that I wanted to get out to the women this year is how liberating it is to jump on a motorcycle and ride all by yourself. Instead of getting on the back with a guy or whoever, if you could just get on that motorcycle, wrap your hands around those handlebars, and go for a ride. It's one of the most wonderful feelings in the world, and it's actually my stress relief. It's how I cope. I don't think I could live without riding my motorcycle, and that's one thing I'm going to have to figure out. What am I going to do when the day comes that I don't ride anymore?
Yeah, well, and I think you'd mentioned that. I think that's one thing that I think is great. And I think you've helped women. They see you ride, and it's like I think it's the raddest thing when you're somewhere and you pull up to a restaurant 2 Harleys instead of 1. And it's a husband and wife, and she's not riding on the back any longer. She's got her own bike.
The coolest thing in the world. I think what goes on with a lot of women is I don't think it's fear or intimidate. I don't know exactly what stops them from riding. They see the bikes, they love the bikes, they love being on them, and they want to be on it alone so bad. And I don't know what stops so many women from doing it, but if I could just get out there and be given the opportunity to talk to more women, I'd love it. I'm glad you have me on the show. I hope somebody's listening that's been thinking about riding. I mean, my advice is just do it. Go to the Harley-Davidson dealership. Tell them you're interested in riding. It doesn't matter how much experience you do or don't have. There's a rider training class that you can take. They teach you every step of the way. I mean, Harley-Davidson, they are killing it with, getting women on bikes and teaching them to ride and getting them started. And I actually hope that I get to be a part of that one day, helping to teach women ride. I think that would be where I'd like to go when I finish racing. So if I could be a part of helping women learn and helping them to make that first move to get on a motorcycle, I think that would be the best thing, the best replacement from me racing.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think there's a whole lot more for you left once things finally do, I guess, wrap up with the NHRA. But like I said before, I'm hoping it's quite a few seasons down the road, because I think you got quite a few wins left in you, I think, Angelle.
I have a few seasons left in me for sure. My number. I'm 49 years old. I'm getting up there in age, but I don't feel like it. I work out every day. I got 2 young kids running me around, keeping me young. I'm young at heart. I have more passion for this than the day I started. I think I want to win just as bad as the day I started, and I love it more than the day I started. There's nothing that's lacking with me right now with this whole thing. And I do not want to quit. And if it comes to that, I'm going to be okay with it. But I'm definitely going to keep surrounding myself by motorcycles and people who ride and people who love the sport of NHRA drag racing.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. I know, we got a big race coming up this weekend, but I appreciate the time. And, I'm hoping you wrap this thing up on the top of the podium.
It would be a wonderful way to end the season, I tell you that.
All right. Thanks a lot, Angelle.
All right. Thanks for having me.
I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere is possible with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. Do you race or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500 or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at impactraceproducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more. Super ATV is the industry leader in aftermarket UTV and ATV parts and accessories. Super ATV products are designed, engineered, tested, and manufactured right here by Super ATV. Whether you're looking to upgrade your suspension, get stronger axles, or you're looking for a new winch to get you out of a tough spot, Super ATV has what you're looking for. And since we know you're in a hurry, we offer fast, free shipping to the lower 48 states on all orders. Visit superatv.com now and get your UTV or ATV dialed in.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. All killer and no filler.
Okay, we are still here at the RacingJunk.com booth, and I don't know, one of my best friends. I would be willing to say one of my best friends, Sara Price.
I know, we've been too long though.
I know, it's weird. It is weird. Like you and I, we binge.
Yeah.
Like we don't hear from each other for 2 months, and then it's like boom, like.
Ding, 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 ding,
yeah,
ding,
like
ding.
long conversations. I don't know. One of my best friends,
I don't know
Sara
why
Price.
I'm laughing at that. That was like the best. That's actually, she sounded like a slot machine.
Been walking around Vegas too long, I guess. No, you're like in and out though, right? You were in and out.
Yeah, I got here the night of the Off-Road Hall of Fame, which I was so bummed I missed. But yeah, I got there that night, and then
I made Erica fly solo. Poor girl.
She's here with her boyfriend, though.
Subi Mike was here.
Yeah.
She's what, IBOC, I think she's working with.
I haven't even talked to her since I've been here. That's how funny our relationship is. So funny. But
like ours. We don't talk, and then we're like best friends.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
It's just life gets the best of you, especially in this industry. It's kind of hard to, you can't have a lot of friend time, I feel like, because you're so busy doing things, and that's why your friends are usually where you work, Yeah.
So, yeah, it's weird because I see that, and you got SP Enterprises. I think a lot of people forget. I think you're this badass truck racer, which you are, by the way. But you've also got this rad business, and like you and I have talked about, this thing's expanding like crazy. You got a bunch of girls working for you now, and like.
Yeah, so actually that's why I came, and on Monday I went and worked in town in Las Vegas. So I have two girls out here. They race side-by-side, Sarah Romo and Kylie. And so we have Tobin, Ferrari out here, Bentley, Rolls-Royce, Lamborghini, Royalty, car rentals. And, yeah, we have, like, a lot of work out here, actually, in Vegas. It's a great accounts for us. So I was out here, just doing FaceTime with the accounts and going painting yesterday. So we did a Bentley and a Range Rover and some other cars. So
is it one of those, like, you've got all these girls working for you, but once in a while it's like you as the boss lady, like you got to do a little FaceTime. It's like they want your personal touch. Like,
yeah, I know. I kind of had to do this whole learning curve of being an actual, like, business owner and boss. And also, too, like, making my business legit to where I'm an actual working business as well. And that's been a huge learning curve because it can definitely consume your life. And so to balance that, everything else. And so the touch-up business, though, it's going great. We have some incredible people that, obviously work for our company, and we're expanding. We're in 4 states now, and we're all extreme sports women.
Yeah, which I think is awesome to build a brand and like help these girls, because I know like you and I have talked about this, like a lot of people in this industry, male and female, they don't have a backup plan, especially like professional motocross, supercross riders, and one injury and it's like, boom, done. What do I do now? Action sports, same way. It's like there's never that backup plan. And obviously you're doing stunt work, and we all know like there's a window there with that also, but it's like this other business. You're building something where if racing goes away, stunt business goes away, you've still got a plan,
Yeah, definitely. And it's pretty cool because it's in the industry that I still love. Like, we're in, cars, motorsports, and my whole family is in the auto body industry, so it's pretty interesting to, see what directions we've all taken with it. But, yeah, I'm beyond grateful. After motocross, I had to figure something out. So I figured that out. And then now, of course, everything's wild. It's like my business is doing the greatest it's ever have. Racing's doing the best it's ever have. My stunt work is I'm getting booked all the time. And I'm like, man, I love all this. But I'm like, I need more of me now.
We need more of you.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need more of Sarah.
Sarah and I have hatched so many plans together, and honestly, between our two schedules, at some point, we're going to connect the dots. It's going to be epic, but, I don't know. It's just crazy. You're as busy as I am, and it's it's nuts. So.
We're going to go crash Sarah's hotel room.
Yeah, right. The Cosmo.
Yeah. No joke. At one point, and Sarah and I are close friends. Somebody on the outside, we were at the Cosmo eating lunch or something, and Sarah's like, Jimmy, you got to come up to my hotel room.
Yeah.
An outsider looking in and be like, whoa.
Yes,
and no,
it wasn't
Sarah's
weird.
no, you have to come up to my hotel room, right now. And we go up there, and I'm like, I understand why you want me up there. It's bigger than my house.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Even last year, all the Hoonigans, after we got done in the burn yard here at SEMA, we all went there, and we just, hung out and, had food and drinks.
Balcony overlooking the Bellagio fountains or whatever, and it was just it's nuts.
I've seen it. I've seen that view, but I heard Sara Price's view is really, really nice, and I heard about this at the Mint. So if we were
because we were talking about, we had hatched a plan at the Mint. What were we going to do? It was something stupid. We were going to go up there and play board games.
I don't even know.
Dumb.
We don't even want to leave the room half the time. We're we'll save money being here.
Let's go hang out at Sarah's room and play board games or something to drink. It was so bizarre. But,
yeah.
Talking about that, I know you're cut short on time. You got an appearance at BFG, but we got to talk about the Baja 1000.
Yep.
You got to be heading down there pre-running, you and Erica, pretty quick, right?
Yeah, we actually went down there this last week. We had some issues, I guess you would say, pre-running, so we ended up coming back pretty fast. We just did 580 to 730, which they weren't quite ready for us to start pre-running. We were the day after it opened, and I wasn't aware that some of the sections were completely washed out, and it was pretty wild. And they were by ourselves out there, me and Erica, so we were like, maybe this is a little too early to pre-run alone. So we came back and we recollected, and so Saturday I tested in Parker, actually, in your hometown, and then we do light testing too.
You're so busy, sometimes I get a text, other times I'm like, oh, Sarah was here.
I know.
It's funny, I can tell your schedule by when I get the text and when I don't.
Yeah, you're like, oh, she must be testing. It must be close to that race. But my dad has a house now at Havasu, so after testing, we usually just stay there, and then, I'm pretty close to you now, and then we go straight down to Baja from there.
Yeah, it's crazy. So you're in this, crazy championship, potential here. How are you attacking the 1,000? Because you want that 1,000 victory on the resume, but then this championship actually means a lot too. So
yeah. All right. So I'm going to let the cat out of the bag, and it's not officially announced yet. There will be an official announcement, but I don't really, whatever. I do my announcements, so it's official coming from me. So the 1,000, we've won 3 times now, but we've never actually won.
No, I think that's crazy. I keep getting ready to text you, Sarah, we got to get this winner's interview. And it's
I know.
There was something that happened, and we lost by 30 seconds because of some stupid penalty.
It's been such a tease. But, we're in the points championship by 5 points right now. There's 3 of us that can have the chance of getting the championship. So, you know me, I'm full of energy and my brain does not stop. So if I were to get out of that truck, I wouldn't rest. I would be sitting there worried about where the truck is, what's happening and everything. So I'm taking the lead and I'm going to just do an Iron Woman. We're going to Iron Woman for the championship.
Sweet. That is, you know what? And that would be, the storyline's built up. I'm getting goosebumps now.
I know, I got goosebumps. I thought it was just me, but awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah.
You know what? You put in the work. You and Eric are both fit. You guys are slinging tires if you have to and everything else. I think it's proper. I wouldn't expect anything different from you.
I don't know if I'm going to ever want to do it again, but...
Yeah, if you would have come in and said, I got a 3-person team to win the 1,000, who are you?
Yeah.
I don't know, that would have been weird.
Man, I'm nervous still. I'm not going to lie. Because I never done that. I never been in the truck more than 15 hours. And we're projecting to be in the truck no less than 18 to 21. We don't really know, but it's a pretty technical course, so it's going to be a while. Erica, I'm pretty sure, is going to do the beginning and the end with me. She's going to get out in the middle because, it's harder being on the navigator side, and Erica can fall asleep anywhere. So it's easy for her to kind of get out and rest and recollect, where me, it's just like I just know myself, and I know I wouldn't. So I might as well just be in the truck anyways. It's going to be something that...
It's going to be an adjustment for you, though, with Erica getting out. You're so used to that voice in your head.
I've never had another navigator. So we have one of Reese Millen's guys. He's actually my mechanic, SP Motorsports, does all my pre-runner stuff. He's going to hop in. He knows how we do our notes. He pre-runs with us. So that will be an adjustment. But I also think a new energy, too, to keep me up, keep me going. I'm not worried about me falling asleep, but... just keeping me on point.
You can get in a rut in those long distance races and really it can. I hate to say lull yourself to sleep, but you start watching mile markers tick off, and once in a while, your foot may come off the gas just a hair, and it's not purposely.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you kind of you need that a shot in the arm. It's no, let's get going. No, I agree with you. I get it. Yeah, it's going to be a wild one, but I think. And that's the thing, it's so funny because, I'm surrounded by a lot of fast people, and they're rally people, like Reese Millen, for instance. He's just you don't want to get too slow out there. And I'm like, Reese, as long as we keep this consistent and we're at a safe pace and we just keep rolling, we're going to be in a winning position. I just need to tell myself that, where, other people you just need to stay on the speed. And I'm like, speed isn't what you need to think about at the Baja 1000. I was like, Baja 1000 is about finishing. And once we finish, then, the next smaller races, and maybe it comes down to more speed. But, I know if we can just stay consistent, we have a very solid pace.
I really like that. Talking to Ricky Johnson all the time, just with co-hosting so many times, Ricky always says, in order to be first, you first must finish.
Yep. And
that's exactly what – I have such good goosebumps. I thought it was because I was chilly in here. But it's just, Sarah, from a female to a female, and – as soon as you step in that truck, it has no idea if you're a man or a woman. Mm-mm. So I love the way that you drive. Whenever we talk, I never put that female out there because same thing with the Jeep. The Jeep doesn't know what we're doing.
Yep.
It doesn't. And so it's so good to be able to talk to you. And Jim says nothing but great things about you all the time. And I really love being able to see, not necessarily grow, but just, you're just this is what I'm going to do. I don't care who says I can do it or not. I'm going to do this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's awesome, too, the support that we get. I just had a guy walk up to me, and he's like, hey, I'm good friends with Charles Dorrance, and he's the guy who's beating us, or who has beat us now in the series, and he's in the points championship with me. And it's he's like, dude, she's a racer, watch out for her. And this year, he's like, dude, she's badass. It's so cool to race with her, but we want to beat each other. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's really cool to have that respect, though, because they aren't looking at me as a female. They aren't looking at Erica as an all-girl team. Yep. They're looking at us okay, crap, the girls are close. We got to be on our A game because they will get us. They're on a mission, Yeah. And so it's cool to have that respect.
Yeah. Well, it's you look at what Haley Deegan's doing in stock cars. They don't view her as a female. They're just Haley's coming. They know,
mm-hmm.
And so I think it's the same thing with you. No, once the helmet goes on, doesn't matter who's behind the wheel.
Yeah. And I respect that. I think that's so cool. You mentioned, when you get in your Jeep, it's we're out there, we're trying to do the same thing. It doesn't matter. That's the best thing about driving, because I come from motocross, where physically a female is a little bit hindered because we are never going to be as strong as a male. But with driving, we can be equals, and there's no excuses. So if you're playing the girl card, the man card, I don't know what you're doing, but I don't believe in that.
Same here. I agree with Sara Price. We don't play the female card. We play the it doesn't matter card.
Yep. Put your head down, work, let those results show, and you're like, what female now? Just kidding.
And nobody wants to ever be beat by a girl, according to the boys. They're like, I don't want to be beat by a girl. No, you got beat by a badass truck.
Right.
That's what happened.
But good for them. If they don't want to be beat by a girl, it's well, I'm going to let you go ahead and deal with that and let me just get better while you waste your time.
That's what you can say. That's a you problem. That's not a me problem. That's a you problem.
Yeah. Just to be, blunt.
All right, Sarah. Well, I know you've got about 20 minutes to get to your next appearance at PFG, but thanks for stopping by. I'm sure we will talk between now and the 1,000 and definitely afterwards for sure.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere as possible with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012.
4WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, 4WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself, or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to 4WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at 4WP.com.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
All right, out here at SEMA 2019, we are out here Wednesday from the Rigid Industries booth. Jim Beaver, T-Stone, and RJ Anderson. I guess all three of us Rigid Industries ambassadors. But I don't know, beforehand, RJ's already cracking liners, got T-Stone snorting, so I don't know.
First line of the day got her, so.
You are winning at life today, RJ.
Exactly. Chalk that up for a win for RJ.
Yeah, so, oh, man, I know you. How's SEMA been treating you already, dude?
Man, SEMA's just a beast of a show, you know. It's so overwhelming. Everyone asks me that doesn't get a chance to come here is like, how's SEMA? It's just so overwhelming. Everything you see, I mean, you see the coolest things you've ever seen in your life 100 times a day, you know. There's so many cool builds, and it's literally just overwhelming. Hard to put into words.
Yeah, well, that's like we were talking about. I'm like, the thing that cracks me up is like me, and I know where you live, like, I might see a Ferrari or a Lambo once in a while. Here, it's like every time you go around a corner, oh, there's an exotic. Like on any given day, like a Ferrari goes by, and you're like, oh, there goes a Ferrari. Yeah. Here at SEMA, it's like, whatever.
Yeah, this is the only place in the world that you walk by a $500,000 car, and you're like, oh, there's a Ferrari. And like, oh, look at that next to it, you know, exactly. The only place that a Ferrari is downgraded is here at SEMA Show.
Right. So I know you actually been working on some pretty cool projects with Rigid that just kind of got released and stuff like that. And I know Brett from Rigid, he's going to chime in here in a second, dude. But what have you guys been working? Because finally cat's out of the bag on some stuff.
The new Adapt E-Series, man, that was a fun project I got to do with the Rigid boys. That was back in March. So that just shows how much work they've been doing to this light and just fine-tuning it even from then. So rad. When they asked me to come out and take my Razor out and what the new product was, I'm like, damn, that's insane. And when I actually got to drive with it, I'm like, this is the future. You know, the way the Adapt E-Series works and the adjustable light beam, it's super impressive. And what I thought was the coolest thing, which they haven't pushed a lot, is for UTVs, we don't have a whole lot of power. You know, we don't have alternators on the UTVs. And so these lights, we do radios, we do lights, we do whips. We add so many accessories that we're really asking too much of the electrical side of these Razors. And the Adapt knows how much power it's drawing, and when you have all your other things turned on, it tames down its power source and adjusts to how much power you have available. So that's one of the coolest things to me.
No, and that's honestly, Brett and I were talking about that yesterday at Taco Tuesday. But no, that's one thing that I think is crazy because, dude, like for our race cars in the desert, we're like spending $2,500 on these billet alternator kits and like everything to get more juice, and it's like, Rigid's got the solution. Like, no, you can just keep doing what you're doing. We got the right lights. Like, I don't know. I think it's a game changer for UTVs.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's going to set the standard for UTV lighting for sure.
Yeah. So what's been going on? I know, obviously, wrapping up the Lucas Oil Series. I know, we didn't even talk. You're like the big, you're like King of Crandon this year, man. How special was that, dude? Walking away, you had the big wreath around your neck. I mean, it's funny because you've got a handful of guys. I look at Crandon, and it's like, yeah, we know, like, you've got a shot. Kyle Greaves, like, but to put it all together on that cup race, like Keegan Kincaid's another one, you know, and I love Keegan to death, but dude, like, it's so hard to put it together in that race because there's so much that can happen, you know, with cautions and just the way things work out. Like, how stoked were you on that? Like,
there was, I would say, 15 heavy hitters that took off on the line that day that had a chance at winning that race, to be honest, you know, and with all that happened and the chaos and the crash that I was involved in right before the finish line in one of the early laps with Bryce is just like so many emotions in one race. And to win the 50th anniversary, I was telling someone early in the show, like, I don't know when's the next time there's going to be a short course race that big, you know, any kind of race that big. Crandon 50th, Kid Rock was in Crandon, you know. Man, it's literally still a couple months later, hard to put into words, and a huge win for me and my team, and it was just cool. My whole family was there. Walker Evans was there, and it was just everything fell right into place for me, and it was definitely the biggest win of my career.
Yeah, and that's one of those, like, I feel like even going into the Cup race, you can go into any given short course race and go, I think we got a really good shot to win this thing. You go into that Cup race, you don't know.
All bets are off.
Yeah, all bets are off. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Squirrel Fest can happen,
Yeah.
and it's like, that's one thing I think is just crazy. And it was just like the race came to you, and it was like it opened up, and it was like, and you and Keegan had a hell of a battle, man.
Yeah.
And that was what was interesting. Keegan, I think he doesn't get enough credit for that guy's a hell of a driver, and to hold off you in a Pro 4 in that Pro 2M truck, man, that was crazy.
Yeah, it came down to the last lap, that's what the fans stuck out the day is to watch that Cup race. And for it to come down to the last lap, I mean, obviously it's a guess, the promoters are guessing how long it's going to take the Pro 4s to catch the Pro 2s, and they timed it perfect. I mean, we had some stuff not go our way, and when I got in that crash, I almost pulled off. I was almost like, hey, I'm just going to not put all this time and go crash my truck for no reason. We've already, the car not in the cards today. At that point, the Pro 2s were like 30 seconds, but when the track dries out and we were catching them 6 seconds a lap, we're like, holy cow. And then last lap to battle with Keegan. That was probably the only bummer deal is, that whole hillside in Crandon was cheering for the hometown boy. But it was definitely cool how pumped the fans still were to see the battle and to appreciate the run we had.
To Keegan's credit, he's got a Cup win, though.
Yeah,
and I think
I didn't feel bad at all.
Yeah, no, and honestly, I guess if he's going to lose to anybody, it's got to be one of his buddies like you, right? Like, I guess you don't want. I don't know. You don't want to say you want to lose to anybody, but I guess you want it to be a friend if you do, I guess.
Yeah, and he was happy for me. That was really cool to share the podium with him because in the spring, I came out to Crandon and did some testing, and they do a Cup race in the spring as well.
Yeah.
The stakes aren't near as high, but they do a brush run Cup race in the spring. And Keegan won that, so I was out there and he beat me. So we went and celebrated with him, even though we were the losers. So it was cool that it got reciprocated and the roles were reversed for the fall run.
You had that crazy move in the spring one, and I was like, holy crap! They put up a wall like a K-rail on that turn. And I know in the spring run you did it was full on like freestyle Pro 4s or something. Dude, it was like full on like 180 off the backside.
I made my mark in Crandon. They put their only K-rails up just for me.
So I looked. I'm like, are they like saying something to RJ here when we walked in? I was like, is this like the RJ Anderson wall?
Yep, exactly. I got my own corner there in Crandon. Yeah, just that's the thing is I'm glad I came back in the spring. I learned from that. We don't get any sight laps or anything in the Lucas Oil Series. We're used to kind of, at least when we stage, we do one lap around the track and kind of see what's going on. Well, in Crandon, we just unleash it all at once. Whole shot down in the big turn one, and then come wide open. I whole shot. Pro 4 race was leading. The track was perfect. Came into the final hairpin turn, and it was slicker than snot. And I threw it in and straight reverse off the backside of the track, disappeared out of the crowd sight, and then popped back over. So it was spectacular. If the K-rail was there, I think I could have probably stayed in the lead and won that race. So I wish it was there in the spring run, but it's pretty funny they put some K-rail up just for me.
Yeah, I know. I showed up and I just started laughing. I'm like, they didn't even have to say anything.
Exactly.
Everybody just knew.
I had so many people come up to me like, "Oh, did you see your K-rail up there in the tree turn?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, we saw that
maybe
one.
You'll maybe sign that thing.
So what else going on for you, dude? I know you've been doing some 6100 racing too, and Best in the Desert, and what's I don't know, what are we looking at for the rest of this year and then like 2020? You doing anything 1,000?
Yeah, I got my feet wet with Adam Lund in the 6100 this year, which was really cool.
You guys had some good runs, man.
Yeah, we came right out of the box and got second at Parker, just missed the win, and then had some good runs all season long. So I had a lot of fun doing it. It's my kind of first desert experience. I've done some Razor stuff with Craig Scanlon, and it's just a different beast, and the way you race a Razor, is way different than the talent level and the trucks and everything that's happening at such a fast rate of speed, and a short course guy it was definitely a learning process, but it was cool to have some good runs, a couple podium finishes. We came down to the line, almost won the championship there. Had a bad race in Laughlin and didn't go our way, but that's racing. So yeah, had some fun in the desert this year. Man, it's like, where did 2019 go? It's there's so many events now, and yeah, so finishing the year strong. I'm doing the Ball 1000 with Brendan Gaughan, actually.
Oh, nice.
And in a Class 1 car, so that'll be fun.
Have you got behind the wheels? That one got a sequential box, or is it an auto?
No, it's more of an older Class 1 car, so it's got an H pattern gearbox in it still. So a little tricky to drive, man. Those things beat you up. I don't know if you've ever driven a Class 1 car.
Yeah, no, I have.
It's not as pleasant as even a Razor. So
I raced one time. A guy goes, "Hey, I want you to race my Class 1 car with me. Do the first lap at Parker. It's your hometown race, and then I'll do the last 2 laps. I just don't want to do all 3." And I'm like, "All right, cool." And I didn't get to test it anything. Literally, first time I sat in the car was on the starting line at Parker. And dude, I got literally like into the first corner, and I went, "Oh, this isn't what I'm used to at all." And it was literally like trial by fire. It was figuring it out on the fly. But you're right, dude. They beat you up, and they handle so differently than anything. I don't know.
Yeah, that's, I think, the men's class. That's for the guys that just enjoy abusing themselves, you know. There's no other nice way to put it. I mean, those things are harsh. You'd imagine. They're fast, you know. Those things move. You get on the lake bed and stuff, that thing goes 130 miles an hour, no problem. But you get into the rough, and, oh, man, you got a party on your hands right there in the Class 1 cars. So, yeah, looking forward to the Baja 1000, you know. Learning a little bit more in desert. I'll be doing the start in about the first 250 miles. So, heading down basically from here, I'm going to go down and start doing some pre-running. Then you got Thanksgiving, and I got a couple film shoots planned throughout the year. So just kind of getting those all in order before 2020 is here before we know it.
Yeah. So what's the plans for 2020? I know Ronnie did KOH last year. You guys, obviously, I'm sure desert. You'd like to put something together. Short course. I've heard rumors maybe a Pro 2M engine in the truck next year.
Yeah. So the Pro 2M thing came along, which is just basically a little bit less horsepower Pro 2 motor. They're trying to save some costs. So we're switching our big engine that we have. It's about just under 900 horsepower to the Pro 2M, and I think they're a little under 700, so we're definitely losing some horsepower there. But the DOT tires and a two-wheel drive truck, I don't know how much of that 900 horsepower you can ever really use, you know. So we're going to do some switches there. We'll be back in Pro 4, Pro 2. Obviously, my brother with the UTV and Pro Light as well. So got some more desert stuff in the works, and really focusing on just some fun film projects that don't have all the details lined up, but got some really cool things in the works. And I think when we release them, people are going to be pretty stoked and turn some heads.
Yeah, well, and I think that's one thing, like, I've really started to like. I think all of us race so much. It's like when we can go and, like, just invest time and just actually going out and riding or doing a little film project where it's not necessarily tied to racing. Like, I feel like stress level's a little bit less. I don't know, like with you, when you do your projects, I'm thinking XP1K, there's a lot of stress there because of the stuff you're doing. But, like, I think sometimes it's like we really get to actually enjoy what we do even more.
Yeah. No, for sure. And that's what it's all about. You know, that's why I love being a part of the UTV industry is, yeah, I get to go out and race a Pro 4, which is one of the raddest, you know, forms of motorsport I think ever created. But I get to come back and hop in my Razor, throw some buddies in the passenger seat, go to Glamis, and go have some fun, you know. And that's what I think it's fun and refreshing to remember how we all started this, you know. And that's going out and having fun, desert trips with your family and friends, and that's really what it's all about to me and all the people I surround myself with. And I think that portrays to the people, you know, they can relate to that. Not everyone can relate to go strapping in a 900 horsepower Pro 4 and throwing in turn 1 at Crandon, but they all go to Glamis with their family and friends in a Razor, and they're like, man, what those guys are doing is rad. I want to go out there and have some fun.
Yeah, well, I think that's like too. Like you go out to Glamis, you hit a dune or something, and people see the video or the pictures. They're like, "Oh, I've hit that same one." So it's like they go out the next time and it's like, "I think I can jump as far as R.J. Anderson."
Yep, yeah, and that's what's cool about the UTV stuff is the people that actually have them. And then when we do some of our off-the-wall ideas, they're like, how did you pull that off? You know, because they can relate.
Yeah, because they know they've driven one.
Yeah, exactly. They have one sitting in their garage, and they're like, there's no way I'm doing that with my Razor, you know? So it's pretty funny seeing the reactions and just the end user enjoying what we're doing, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You got anything for him, Tiff?
Oh, no. All I wanted to ask RJ was if the mullet made him faster at Crandon, because that's what I feel like every time I talk to him on the podium. He just kept going from third to second to first, and he went full mullet, full scented, and that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, so a little backstory on the helmet mullet. As always happens in Crandon, we got a little bit of bad weather, and we were out just hanging in the pit having fun, and I started, as why not, we brought a hair trimmer kit from California with us to Wisconsin and started giving some free mullets out to friends and fans, and whoever really was down to have a mullet, you're signed up. And poor Chris from Temp Media, I think he got a little bit of liquid courage in him and was like, I'll get a mullet. So I literally cut his hair. He has super like shoulder length or not, if not more, long hair. Cut his hair off and then taped his actual hair to the back of my helmet. So the deal was if I gave him a mullet, I had to get a mullet, but my hair's way too short to have a mullet. So I taped his hair, as gross as it sounds, I taped his actual hair to the back of my helmet. And I had a mullet on the back of my helmet, and every time I'd get on the podium, I kept showing Tiffany. I was like, "Look at the mullet! It's gives me superpowers." And so I went from I did 3, 2, 1 that weekend and ended on top. And everyone was like, "Are you going to run the helmet mullet? Like, are you going to like invent that? Is that going to be on your helmet the rest of the season?" And I'm like, you know what? It had such a good run, I had to pull it off, and it's on my trophy. So my Crandon World Cup trophy, the mullet is taped to it. So my trophy has a mullet, and we'll never forget that moment for sure.
Dude, that is rad.
That's all we talked about. Every time RJ came up there, it was just the mullet got a little longer, and a little bit more mullet went on the helmet.
Yeah.
So.
That's how we know I had a good joke this morning. Is I couldn't even get a snort out of Tiffany with the helmet mullet, but opening the line with her this morning.
Yeah,
But
we keep trying to get the snort.
Yeah.
it's not coming back. Like
I
we didn't
know.
get it on air. Like I don't know.
We got to wait for sleeveless Sundays.
Yeah.
I lost sleeves.
I have scars on my finger from ripping so many sleeves off.
I will tell you what.
Sunday night in Crandon.
No joke. So the shirts they gave us at Crandon are those like Under Armour, like they were like $70 polos, and they're that like golf material, dude. You can't rip that. Keegan, I don't ever want to get a fight with that guy, dude. He is full on farm boy beast, and I mean that. I love the guy to death. He's one of my dear friends. He walks up and he looks at me. He's like, Jimmy, you have sleeves. He grabbed that shirt and just went like He-Man style and ripped it, and I'm like, dude, like I couldn't even cut that with scissors, and you ripped it with your bare hands.
There's not much stopping that boy. Yeah, if we ever push comes to shove, you want to look around and make sure Keegan's behind your back for sure. Because
especially if you've been to the bar there and seen him punch the punching bag, it's like I don't even think it registers as punches because they're so hard.
There's a local watering hole in Crandon called Group Therapy, and it's got one of those punching bags, where the bag drops and you see who's got the highest score. And I don't think anyone even plays because Keegan's hit it so many times. He's like broken the record that has ever been set on one of those. So,
thing just spins.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
crazy.
Yeah,
I'm like, and we mean that in the nicest way. It's like he's the nicest guy. But
he is. Great family.
So awesome, man. Well, I appreciate the time, RJ. I know you're busy bouncing around and stuff. Good luck at the 1,000, and sure we'll chat soon, man.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for having me, guys.
I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
All right. Well, I told you this is all killer, no filler. It's one of those where we just binge on the interviews. I got a lot to talk about. Next week, we're going to get into things, big Baja preview, probably have some NHRA winners on the show, and a whole lot more, man. We got a lot to talk about, but I got to give a shout out to Polaris RZR, General Tire, my good friends at Vision Wheel, Full Wheel Parts, Dirtfish, Gibson Exhaust, obviously Rigid Industries and RacingJunk.com, my good friends there at iRacing, Impact Race Products, and just everybody that helps support a super ATV. Use the coupon code DOWNDIRTYDF. That'll get you 15% off at Dirtfish Rally School. But man, this has been a crazy couple of weeks. The Off-Road Hall of Fame, I was out there, fortunate enough to get to host that. So David Higgins get inducted, as well as Robbie Gordon and some other amazing people from the sport of off-road. SEMA, something like 4 total appearances, 2 shows, had 10 meetings, some crazy parties, good dinners. Spent some time with the King, Richard Petty, doing a Q&A for General Tire. I mean, who gets to spend an hour with Richard Petty? I can tell you I did, and it's amazing. Guy is funny as hell. What a class act. And, it's been an amazing couple of weeks. I know we're fast-forwarding into Baja, and we're going to be cranking out a ton of content. Make sure and keep it dialed in on the web at downanddirtyshow.com. Obviously the show as well, Project Action and this show. You can get us on iTunes, subscribe, rate, review. Please leave those star ratings. It definitely helps us out more than you guys actually know. Follow me at JimBeaver15 on social media. On Instagram, we've actually got 3 accounts now. At Down and Dirty Show's another one, and at Dirt Daily Media is a third account. We got some massive news coming out, especially out of our esports program, some new partners coming on board. It's going to be a wild couple of weeks until the start of the year. Amazing partners, some big announcements coming on my end in regards to my racing schedule and what I'll be doing. So, please keep it dialed in here, and thank you guys for the support. If you're tuning in, if you're heading out to Baja, please be safe down there. Enjoy the race, but we want to see you guys back in one piece stateside. That is definitely for sure. So we're going to sign off for this week. We'll be back next week with more Down and Dirty Show powered by Polaris Razor. Be safe. As always, game on.